green plastic watering can for a fake Chinese.
As I started prepping and filming for this project, I went in with the idea that I would talk about the need for happiness in the human's life, and how that happiness is connected to relationships. I researched and read a lot of material online and began to interview people to add into the project. And as I sat to finally piece all the pieces together, I found a dissatisfaction of the main focus of my film, in that it was all centered about our happiness and how a lot of these things are just fillers and temporary happiness. As I was pondering and really trying to digest the material I was about to formulate, I found that one of the biggest issues on where our ecology is deteriorating is because we as humans are so caught up in our search for happiness that we have lost the sight of the planet and those around us. It has become very easy to be self-focused and self-centered and just selfish in our journey to fill ourselves up. I find it strange how everything comes around full circle, and the question in this project still remains: how do we find true happiness? Not just contentment or temporary pleasure, but a happiness that resides even when everything around us seems lost or hopeless. What is it, or what are they, that truly satisfy the human's need to be fulfilled and happy?
Actually, there was years ago, like 10 years ago, I used to hang out at Mojo's Gallery a lot when I was like 15. I used to play there a bunch, and 2 years went by, I moved out of town and came back, and there was this open mic at Mojo's that Amir was kind of beginning for the foundation. He started doing this open mic, and we'd kind of heard about each other before, just through mutual friends, and then somehow got hooked up at one of those open mics, and then just kind of right away became friends. Yeah, started making music together and working together. I guess that's how I met Amir, and then Nate. How did you know Nate?
I'm not really sure. I don't know. But it was magical.
It really could have been at the Nurture the Creative Mind mic, but it was through playing. It was through music. It was through art that I met both of you guys. Definitely.
First, I would like to look at materialities and search out if things can fill the gaping hole in our hearts and bring the real deal of what true happiness is. As we have learned about the web of life, we have found that even unliving things are very much a part of our lives in this day and age, and we must admit that matter actually matters. Are things bad in and of themselves? Of course not. In the end, we are the users, the masters, if you will, of the thing itself. Let's take a look at what Jane Bennett says in The Vitality of Matter. She says, "Why advocate the vitality of matter? Because my hunch is that the image of dead or thoroughly instrumentalized matter feeds human hubris and our earth-destroying fantasies of conquest and consumption. It does so by preventing us from detecting, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling a fuller range of the non-human powers circulating around and within human bodies. These material powers, which can aid or destroy, enrich or disable, ennoble or degrade us, in any case call for our attentiveness or even respect. The figure of an intrinsically inanimate object may be one of the impediments to the emergence of more ecological and more materially sustainable modes of production and consumption. My claims here are motivated by self-interest or cognitive concern for human survival or happiness. I want to promote greener forms of human culture and more attentive encounters between people, materialities, and thing materialities."
Really, we're talking about like what energy certain things carry, and I believe like art has an energy. Certain art pieces, whether it be music, literary art, visual art, it carries with it an energy that communicates something.
Yeah.
Even if we can't understand it and explain it through words, what it feels like. And I think that I wrote a poem one time that in one of the lines it says, "Feelings aren't complicated, the mind is," because you know what you feel. You can feel it. You don't necessarily, sometimes you don't know how to express it, but your mind tries to say, well, you shouldn't feel this way, or you should feel that way.
Right.
Even though the feeling is in and of itself is pure.
Right.
You know, so I think that like when it comes to music and expression, the energy is the most pure thing. You know, regardless of what that expression is.
Right. Here in America, it is easy to be caught up in individualism, self-focus for what we need, want, or desire. We as humankind have lived our lives with our species as the main focus and priority. We have searched for what makes us happy and try to meet that at all costs. We have found that we are not alone, and although we are unique individuals, we are connected to the biodiversity around us, and this is something that needs our attention. This brings me to my second point, that things in themselves do not bring happiness, and maybe the main cause our planet is in a mess. If we could only find a greener way to fulfill our needs, our hopes, our dreams, I believe that art, music, and coffee shops may hold something that we can relate with and connect with in our search for happiness, and perhaps assist us in our search to cure the world around us.
Playing in front of people that I'm positive, that everybody is happy, that it elevates the mood, that it elevates the desire to be happy,
Yes.
the desire to be groovy, the desire to grow upright, to
Right.
become full.
Yeah,
And so that's important to me, to play music that does that.
yeah,
If music can be used, you know, in the other sense too, you know, and that's why it's important to counterbalance all that.
yeah,
Everything has to have a good counterbalance.
yeah. That's good. Do you guys have anything to say about this stuff? Anything smart?
I don't think a lot of people realize that they're just like as a race, you know, people need music. They've never found a civilization on Earth that there wasn't musical instruments found. Every civilization that's ever existed played music and had music always since the beginning of time. You know,
Right.
it's like it's a piece of us. You know, whether you know it or not, it's in you.
Well, not just music, but art, writing, any outward expression is something that throughout the history of like the world has separated us from animals. It's separated us from anything else, and that's because we have a spirit,
Yeah.
we have a soul, we have a longing expression to get what we're feeling inside out there, or to connect, like what you said, in a spiritual way with a song. But that's something that I think draws me to people like this, and draws me to just to go sit and watch a band, even if
Right.
it's at a weird hole-in-the-wall place. I'll still go there
Yes.
because my spirit is hungry for it, for music and art, and I think that it comes from a higher place. That's my personal belief, but I think that that's kind of what connects us all on that same level, is that it just, it's a really deep thing, like music and art.
Yes.
And like it's hard for me to even express because of how deep, like I'll get emotional talking about it because it's so important to me,
Right.
but that's why we're connected on it.
By allowing ourselves to take this wild journey of the vibrant matter, we can possibly then resensitize our eyes to see our consumptions, our needs, our wants, and perhaps rethink and reshape how much and the way that we consume these things. If we chose to be consumers that have someone besides ourselves to fulfill, maybe we can do our part in saving the planet, or on a smaller scale, ourselves. I have composed some words to help bring my point across. Thingness and its magnetism has drawn me in once again. That nice new car, that big spacious home, the extra cash in my account, those dope new shoes I saw at the mall the other day. If only, I say to myself, if only I had that thing, I would be happy, content, filled with ease. All my complications, my worries and fears would fade in a breeze. I can feel my need for thingness increase. As my car breaks down, as I overdraw, as my DCs get worn, as I lose my health, as my closest thing, the thing I call my iPhone, my iPad, my MacBook Pro, my things become the past as a year passes. My newest thing is announced, released, and pre-ordered. I'm full of my thingness, but my fuel never seems to fill in the gaping hole inside of my soul. I say to myself, if only I had one more thing. Then I would be happy, content, filled with ease. All my complications, my worries and fears would fade in a breeze. Yet to my demise and insane discontentment, I'm left in this empty space full of things that do not truly satisfy my need for fulfillment. I love my things, but have my things loved me in return? Do their hearts beat as mine? Do they need the same types of things that I need? Each time I ask, they never respond. I find myself filled with things, but weary, alone, and depressed. If anyone could help me, then my phone rings. It's my friend, my companion, asking me to meet him at a coffee shop for some live music and other friends. Aha! This is what truly fills the void in my heart. They are the cause, the reason I smile, the reason I laugh. They have a beating heart as I do. They engage in conversation. They may disagree with me and even hurt me, but the reward of forgiveness, mercy, and companionship is the one thing I need. This makes me happy, content, filled with ease. All my complications, my worries and fears fade in a breeze. The ones that breathe fill me up more than anything this can. But even they, even myself, whether we like it or not, are connected and depend on the plants, the trees, the air, and even those things are connected to soil, to water, to the atmosphere. I come to realize that even if I hope my future children breathe clean air, I must be aware that everything is connected. My actions cause a reaction. The cost of my own happiness is high, and we must do what we can to preserve and nurture those things that truly matter, that truly bring health, wholeness, and happiness, so that we can be happy, content, filled with ease, that all of our complications, our worries, and fears would fade in a breeze.
One more word and you won't survive.